What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video of LOS Podcast, where today we're going to be covering the entire Antonio Brown saga from all the way back from December to now. Today we found out that the Raiders released Antonio Brown, and 5 hours later he signed with the New England Patriots. His contract details were 1 year, $15 million, and a $9 million signing bonus. This is coming after a tremendous season by Antonio Brown, a Pro Bowl season where he had 104 catches, 1,297 yards, and a career high in league-leading 15 touchdowns. So we're going to start this off to where all this drama really started, which was 2018, Week 16 versus the New Orleans Saints. For some background, the Steelers were 8-5-1 and battling to stay atop of the AFC North, where the rising Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson, were pushing for that playoff spot. So this was Antonio Brown's best game of the season by far. He had a season-high 14 catches, a season-high 185 yards, and a tied for season-high 2 touchdowns, which unfortunately was not enough to lead the Steelers to victory. There was 41 seconds late in the game. The Steelers were down 28-31, looking to kick a field goal or score a touchdown to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. They were on the 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Roethlisberger drops back, throws it across the middle of Juju Smith-Schuster, and he fumbles. Saints recover, season essentially crushed. Antonio Brown was understandably very upset with the result of this game. So mad, in fact, that he skipped practices after that week. Week 17, he was benched and was not played because the Steelers organization was not happy with him. They were not happy with him skipping practices and not being with the team, which is understandable. So week 17, he was benched. And this is when he requested his trade out of Pittsburgh. March 13th, 2019, Antonio Brown is traded to the Oakland Raiders. This puts an end to the historical run Big Ben and Antonio Brown had together. Big Ben and Antonio Brown were second in NFL history in career completions from a quarterback to receiver duo. The record is currently held by Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning. Now, the next place this saga goes to is the Twitter war. It all starts on April 7th, 2019, when a Steelers fan page posted a picture with who they thought was the team MVP of the season. And as we know, that team MVP was Juju Smith-Schuster and not Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown commented on that tweet saying, "Emotion. Boy fumbled the whole postseason in the biggest game of the year. Everyone went blind or busy making guys famous. Not enough reality these days. By the way, check the list." And linked a tweet to Stephen Covey, who I'm not quite sure who that is. Juju Smith responded saying, "Keep your emotions off the internet. All I ever did was show that man love and respect from the moment I got into the league. I was genuinely happy for him when he got traded to Oakland with his big contract, and now he wants to take shots at me on social media. Crazy how big that ego must be to take shots at people who show you love. SMH." That was a string of 3 different tweets Juju put out, followed by the 4th one, which was a quote from Mark Twain saying, "Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference." This was really what kicked off all of the drama. This was when Antonio Brown started calling Big Ben a fake leader and saying that he's not a true leader of the team, and just really taking shots at the entirety of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. And this is also when Antonio Brown had said, "Never trust a person who has not got paid." basically saying Juju Smith-Schuster was sucking up to the Pittsburgh organization, trying to earn a new contract. So, as you can see, there was some bad blood between him and Juju Smith-Schuster, and shortly after he said that, he posted the DMs Juju had sent him just before he entered the draft as a rookie, saying, "Hey, I'm a young receiver at USC. I'm looking for ways to improve my game. You're the best receiver in the NFL right now," and I thought, who else better to learn from? And Antonio Brown posted this DM from 2 years ago about Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm not sure what point he was trying to make, but Andrew Siciliano commented on it, who is the host of Red Zone channel for DirecTV, saying, "Is Antonio Brown trying to make Juju Smith-Schuster look good? If so, he's doing a great job." Now, this is really as I said, the start of all this beef. It was just this Twitter war between the Pittsburgh Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Antonio Brown. And I don't know why he was really starting this Twitter war. He had already, been traded to Oakland. He had got his whole new contract, meaning the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history, which now has been topped twice since then with Michael Thomas's contract. And today we found out about Julio Jones's new contract. So after this Twitter war, the next notable event is on July 25th during Raiders training camp, where it broke news that Antonio Brown had got frostbite on his feet from chirotherapy, trying to treat his legs from soreness. 5 days later, we find out that he leaves training camp to go seek treatment for his feet, and this is also when he files his first grievance. So a lot of big headlines were going on at this time on July 30th. First, because he left training camp, which players just don't leave training camp. Second, we found out that he needs to, leave the team and leave his town to go seek treatment for his feet. So we know that this is a very serious injury. And also, he files a grievance because he wants his old helmet back that he wore in Pittsburgh, because the NFL had deemed it not safe anymore because it did not pass a bunch of their concussion protocols and their head safety protocols. And so Antonio Brown filed this grievance because his helmet was not available, but really all the NFL was trying to do was make the NFL a safer place to play, make the sport a safer game to, participate in, and really making sure that all the helmets in the game today were top of the tier, preventative against concussions. So August 18th, we find out Antonio Brown is fined $40,000 for unexcused absences during training camp. And, this was a fairly big deal because we didn't really know what was going on with Antonio Brown. If you guys watched Hard Knocks, you probably understood that he was very rarely on the field or with the team. And so this was a very big deal. September 3rd to September 7th is when all of the absolutely crazy stuff happens. This was only a matter of a couple days, and you'll see how much stuff happens. So September 3rd first is when Antonio Brown posts a picture on his Instagram saying "helmet drama over," and the caption to his post is "most calculated move by far. I choose Zenith. #stockpile." So Zenith, I'm assuming, I know it's this helmet company who produces and distributes helmets. And so what Antonio Brown was trying to say is he's found the helmet that he wants to wear, which is from Zenith. And so this was our first bit of hope for Antonio Brown. We're okay, the helmet ordeal is over. Hopefully we can come out and see him play very, very good football like we know he's capable of. Until the next day, Antonio Brown posts a picture of his fine letter he got from general manager Mike Mayock, which included $54,000 of fines total. $40,000 of it was the August 18th fines, and an extra $14,000 was money that the NFL had fined him for, same thing, skipping practices. Later that day, September 4th, we find out that the Raiders plan to suspend Antonio Brown for whatever part of the season that we did not know. And so that's when the speculation started. Well, is he going to get suspended the whole year? Is he going to get suspended 4 games? How long is he going to be out? Until the very next day, September 5th, we find out via head coach Gruden that he plans to play Monday night versus the Broncos. So a lot of us fans and a lot of the analysis were really confused. We're like, okay, yesterday it was told to us that he was going to be suspended, but today we're being told that he will play Monday Night Football. So this was very confusing from everybody's point of view. And again, this is where hope really started to shine through for the Raiders organization. Okay, he'll play. The drama is over. Let's get back to seeing Antonio Brown on the football field playing dominant football. The next day, Antonio Brown is fined just over $215,000 from the Raiders organization for a string of violations, skipping practices, posting on social media, all these things. And the caption to his post on this Instagram post about the fines was "Free me." Those were the last 2 letters of his big paragraph and spiel was "Free me," or last 2 words, "Free me." So not a lot of people caught on to this, but this was kind of a foreshadowing of what was going to happen. This is when Antonio Brown posted the video to his YouTube channel of his call between head coach Gruden and himself, where Gruden questions if Antonio Brown truly wants to be a Raider. And Antonio Brown takes defense to this, saying he's worked his butt off this whole offseason. He's worked harder than everybody else trying to be a Raider, and they just, can't seem to get anything together. And also, from the fines, this is when we find out that Antonio Brown and general manager Mike Mayock got into a heated discussion over his absences at training camp. And we found out Antonio Brown had said he wanted to punch general manager Mike Mayock in the face. This was giant news, right? He's fined $215,000. He posts videos of the head coach questioning if he wants to be part of the organization. And we find out he wants to punch the general manager and says "free me" in his Instagram post. The very next day, he makes another post about the Raiders organization saying "release me at Raiders, #no more," and the Raiders did just that and released him. But only 5 hours later, he was picked up by the New England Patriots, as I said earlier, on that 1-year, $5 million deal. Now, Antonio Brown is a 7-time Pro Bowler. He had 6 consecutive Pro Bowls from 2013 to the current 2018 season. He's a 4-time first-team All-Pro. He had 4 in a row from 2014 to 2017. So Antonio Brown is going to tremendously increase the quality of this offense, with rookie N'Keal Harry making headlines. He's got an injury. I'm not quite sure what it is or how long he's going to be out, but they've also got Josh Gordon, who got reinstated. On the defensive side, they've got a tremendous defense led by first-team All-Pro cornerback Stephon Gilmore, and a defense that held the high-flying Rams offense to 3 points in the Super Bowl. So if you're a general NFL fan, or your favorite teams in the AFC, this is big news, because this increases the Patriots roster by a tremendous amount. The real concern was the wide receiver position, and now they have 4 tremendous wide receivers in Josh Gordon, N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman, and possibly the second best receiver of all time, Antonio Brown. So really, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, to see if Coach Belichick can change Antonio Brown back into the player he once was and back into the figure he once was. And hopefully we can see Antonio Brown come back to sense, really, and see if he can get back to that fan favorite figure he once was. But, no one really knows if his reputation is too damaged, if the fans will ever like him again. So, we'll keep you updated on all the Antonio Brown drama and all the Antonio Brown news in the future. Thank you guys so much for listening. And as I said, we'll keep you updated on any news on this story Follow us on Instagram if you haven't already at Latest on Sports Podcast. Like the video, comment on what you want to see next, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.